this because as it's already established and it's known that the most important thing in this life is al-hidayah. To be guided in this life that we live in, that's the most precious thing. And because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made it a pillar of the salah to recite, just if a person prays the fard salah 17 times, reciting the most important dua, the most important supplication in Surah Al-Fatiha, since it's the most important surah of the Quran, saying, Ihdina as-sirata mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. That means that's the most valuable thing in this life. And therefore, whoever does not make this as the most valuable thing in his life, he needs to purify his heart. There's nothing more valuable in this life than to be guided to the deen of Islam, to be guided to understand the purpose of our life, to be guided to the tawheed, that there's no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the religion of all the prophets of Allah. The purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for is La ilaha illallah. There's no one worthy of worship except Allah. And then after that, to be guided with every breath we take to fulfill what La ilaha illallah means. Because now it's the life. When it comes to fulfillment of the obligations, to be away from what Allah forbade, to live our life according to what La ilaha illallah means. And that's the perfect way of life. And one point that I wanted to mention, especially after Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that He subhanahu wa ta'ala is waliyul ladhina amanu. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the wali. The wali means the protector, the helper, the one that aids and gives victory to those who believe. This wilaya, this help, some people they think it's about the physical help in this life. This is a small aspect of it. The real help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the real victory in this life, as the ayah mentioned. Allahu waliyyu ladhina amanu. To do what to them? What's the help from Allah? What's the victory from Allah? يُخْرِجُهُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. That Allah takes them from the darknesses to the light. This is the help. This is the victory in this life. The victory in the battle of this life. Everyone, each and every one of us, we have to fight our battle in this life. The battle in this life is to be taken out of the darknesses, the plural tense, it's mentioned like this, to the light. And the only light is the light of the tawheed, the light of following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the light of al-iman wal-amal al-salih, to be a believer and to do the righteous good deeds. So this is the real wilayah. This is the real protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Indeed, أَوْلِيَاءُ اللَّهِ, those who are the closest to Allah, the righteous ones, those who receive the help from Allah and the victory from Allah, there is no fear for them, nor shall they grieve. And the fear and the grief or the sadness, it's repeated in the Quran in many verses, that as the ulama, they say it refers to two things, the past and the future. So no fear for them for what's coming ahead in this life, the moment of death, afterwards. And the grief is for the things that a person had in his life, things that bothers the person, calamities, whatever there is. If they fulfill the meaning of awliyaullah, they are the ones that are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with, as it's mentioned in the next verse, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who believed and they used to yattaqoon, and yattaqoon is in the present tense. That means it's not once in a while. This becomes their life. At-taqwa is to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, seeking rewards from Allah. It's the obedience to Allah, it's the fear of Allah. It's to be dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And this is how a person would attain this level of al-wilayah, to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not a level that is given by a certificate or by lineage. This is one of the ways of shaitan. He plays and manipulates the people. This is something that is between the abd, the slave of Allah, and his Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with one's actions. And there are many, but one thing that comes in mind to show how the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, and this is another thing that we need to learn. Who are awliyaullah? Who were the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam? The companions radiallahu anhu, the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned them in the Quran, that He's pleased with them and they are pleased with Him. And He ordered us to follow them, to follow their understanding of the religion. And that's why everything about them is preserved for us. As the ayah was السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين تبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. The foremost of the muhajirin, those who migrated with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Al-Madinah. And Al-Ansar, the people of Al-Madinah. So this is two categories of the entire ummah of the Muslimin. And the third ones, وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ, those who followed them with ihsan, with goodness. So this is the three categories of the ummah, that they would receive what? رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Him. So the way to seek the pleasure of Allah, to be either from the muhajirin or from the ansar or from those who followed them with goodness. As-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam radiallahu anh, he was one of the 10 people that the Prophet ﷺ told them in their lifetime that they are from the people of Jannah. From the Ashara al-Mubasharin bil Jannah. He told them in their lifetime that they are from the people of paradise. They received this in their lifetime, which is a level that no one after them can receive this, where only our a'mal and our actions and the matter is unseen to us. And it's the moment of death when the believer would receive the glad tidings and the good news. And that's why at that moment of death for the believers, it's the most joyful moment ever, because now they would receive the bishara and the glad tidings. لا خوف عليكم ولا أنتم تحزنون. No fear for what's coming ahead and no grief for what you're leaving behind. So that becomes then the most joyful moment for them. So they received that during their lifetime, when they would still live and talk and walk and things like this. So as Zubayr al-Awwam, after the Prophet ﷺ, so when he was dying, actually he was not dying in the sense that he was sick, there was an incident, and he said to his son, he brought his son, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, one of the great scholars of the Sahaba also. His son is also a companion. So he said in the battle of Al-Jamal, he said to his son, today those who will be in this battle, either those who will die, either zalim or madloom. Either zalim, al-zalim is the one that commits injustice, or the transgressor, or madloom is the oppressed one, or the one that injustice will be committed on him. He said to his son, وَمَا أُرَانِي إِلَّا أَنْ أُقْتَلْ مَظْلُومًا. And it seems like I will be killed from those who will be killed madlooman, meaning unjustly. And he was one of the first ones that were killed in this battlefield unjustly. It was an unjust matter. But then his concern, he says, the most concern that I have, he's saying that to his son, is my debt. This is the most of my concern, is my debt. He wants to make sure that the rights of people, they receive it with regards to the debt. And the people, they used to keep their money with him. Like when people want to secure their money, they don't want where to put it, so they would give it to Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam. So he wanted to make sure that the people would receive their money. But then the point here is that he said to his son, he said, if إِذَا ضَاقَ بِكَ الْأَمْرِ, if the matter becomes tight for you, you don't know how to fulfill the rights of the people and to give them their debt, فَاسْتَعِنْ عَلَى ذَلِكَ بِمَوْلَيْ. Seek help by doing that by my mawla, my protector, my helper. So his son, he says, Wallahi ma darayt. ماذا يعني بمولاي? He said, Wallahi, I did not know what does he mean by my protector. So I asked him, who's your mawla? He said, Allah. But see how instead of saying to him, if you have difficulty trying to pay off my debt, ask help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not say it like this. He said, ask help from my mawla, my protector, the one that supported me and helped me. So when he asked him, he said, Allah. So Abdullah ibn Zubayr, afterwards, his father died, and he said, Wallahi, every time I have difficulty trying to get the money to reach the people, I would say what? I would say, Ya Mawla Zubayr, iqdi anhu dayna. O Mawla of Az-Zubayr, O the protector of Az-Zubayr, pay off his debt. And he said, Wallahi, it becomes like paid off immediately. He would find the people immediately. The matter was made easy for him, that he paid off all of his debt. it was not just words that they read in the Quran, it was their life is about this. They had this in their hearts, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu mawla alladhina amanu. That ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ مَوْلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَأَنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ لَا مَوْلَى لَهُمْ. That is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the protector of the believers, and the disbelievers, they have no protector. So this understanding of the meaning of it. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he was in the most difficult times, when he was in the ghar, in the cave, and leaving Mecca, and him and Abu Bakr, and he said that if Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said, if one of the disbelievers, they look under their feet, they would see us. That means they were in the weakest state physically, and the disbelievers are pursuing after them. He, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, was under the protection of Allah. When the believers were tortured in Mecca, they were under the protection of Allah. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them victory, they were under the protection of Allah. Because this life is nothing but a test. And what matters is, because that's what al-Iman is. When they would give the pledge to the Prophet ﷺ with al-Islam, the Prophet ﷺ, what is in return for them? Worldly gain? He says, nothing. It's just your return is Jannah. That's what you get, is the hereafter. You would enter the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they would say, رَبِحَ الْبَيْعِ لَا نَقِيلُ وَلَا نَسْتَقِيلُ. This is a profitable trade. We won't break this trade whatsoever. So the covenant between the human being and his Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala is the reward in the hereafter. That's what al-Iman is, to believe in matters of unseen, and then to be steadfast upon the deen of Allah. And as a result of that, a person would receive the goodness in this life and in the hereafter also. And this is all as a result of al-istiqamah, to be steadfast upon the deen of Allah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all obedient to Allah. And since obedience is mentioned, can someone, what's the difference between at-ta'a wal-ibadah? The obedience and the worship. Which one is more general than the other one? Al-ibadah is to worship, right? And who's the one that deserves to be worshipped alone? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we worship none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with perfect submission, perfect love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At-ta'a, to be obedient. If you're obedient to Allah, that's ibadah, that's worship of Allah, when you're obedient to Allah. But there's other things in our life that we obey. If you obey your parents, right, you can obey them, but it's not, of course, you're not worshiping them. You're being obedient to them. If you're obedient to the ruler, for example, in matters of ma'ruf, matters of goodness, you're not worshiping the ruler. You're being obedient to them. This ta'ah, if it's done because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to be obedient to certain individuals in our life, then it becomes ibadah to Allah. Not ibadah to the human beings, but ibadah to Allah. For example, مَا يُطِعِ الرَّسُولَ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهِ. Whoever obeys the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, indeed he had obeyed Allah. Who's the one that ordered us to obey the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when someone is obedient to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is he worshipping the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam or worshipping Allah? Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why when Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he died, he addressed the people when everybody was in such a state of sadness that the ummah never received the like of it. The death of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said to them, "Man kana ya'budu Muhammadan fa inna Muhammadan qad mat. Wa man kana ya'budu Allah fa inna Allah hayyun la yamut." He said, whoever used to worship Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam had died. And none of them, of course, worshipped the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But to make sure that to understand things in the right way. And they said, whoever worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ever living and he never dies. So therefore, when we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, the one to be worshipped is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The obedience to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam because Allah sent him. And وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He does not speak from his desire, he speaks from revelation from Allah. So in every aspect in our life, what is the way of the Prophet ﷺ? And a person would submit himself to the way because this is the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping Allah through this ta'ah, through this obedience. And therefore, if a person is being obedient and righteous to his parents, but because he's afraid that they're going to be upset with him and they don't write anything for his will, even though inheritance doesn't have to be mentioned, it's not mentioned in the will, he's not worshipping Allah in this. versus someone that he is being kind to his parents. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانٍ. And with the parents, be kind to them. So that's the end of it. Then it's the worship of Allah to be kind to the parents, even if they are disbelievers. So this is how the entire life becomes all ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by being obedient to Allah and by being obedient to those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to be obedient to. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is obedient without any conditions, because he is only receiving revelations from Allah. Other than the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their obedience is conditioned, as long as it does not contradict the obedience to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There is no obedience to the creation of Allah in the disobedience of Allah, only if it's in the context of being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and give us all steadfastness upon the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till we depart from this life and we return all to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم.